For decades, for over 60 years, our Anglophone community in Cameroon have suffered systemic abuse from the Cameroon forces and extortion from the Cameroon government officials and administrators. Honorable Weber once said, they walk around our villages like colonial administrators, colonial masters. The video I'm about to show you today is evidence of the brutal problem that we call the Anglophone crisis. Our Anglophone cry for the past 60 years can be summed up in a video I want to show you from a human right who give first-hand witness about a case that exemplifies what we are suffering as Anglophones in Cameroon. My name is Capo Daniel. I'm the chairman of PRAP, the People's Right Advocacy platform. You are all welcome at home and abroad. In our towns and villages, whether it is in Bamenda, Manfe, Boya, Limbe, even our people who are in Cameroon, across our territory in particular, the territory of the former British Southern Cameroon, Cameroon armed forces who were supposed to protect our people, our citizens, have beaten them up, tortured them, harassed them for money. And even when they execute our people or they torture them with impunity and you bring them up, you'll be subjected to further torture and beating by your oppressors. You report them, those same police people will call you and think that, who do you think you are? So, don't make a mistake. This does not dismiss the problem we have that comes from our own Ambazonian fighters in Ground Zero. This is not an excuse for them. But this is the Anglophone problem that we must know, that millions of our people suffer. The Cameroon Armed Forces act in the same way kidnapping gangs are acting in our territory. And this video is testament of that. So, our entire community, whether you are talking about people in Bamenda, people in Moliko, people in Mundem, in every village in our territory, all of them, they are living in fear. Whether it is a military that perform kale, where they will go around neighborhood, subject an entire neighborhood with humiliating searches, arbitrary arrest. In Ekona and many other places, we have seen people being round up. Even in Bayangi, round up for no justification, no civilian supervision, taken to Cameroon military prisons, to unidentified prisons, and they have to pay huge sum of money without any civilian oversight or judicial oversight. These have been going on for years, 60 years and counting, and now it is just getting worse. So you are going to watch the video and you hear our people, and even when they cry for mercy, they are ignored, they are made mockery of. This pattern of extrajudicial violence repeats across every segment of our society. Whether you're a businessman, you're a farmer, the beatings, the shootings, the ransom for intimidation, judicial persecution, judicial threatening is real to our people. There are thousands of examples. Soldier acts as if the law does not apply to them. No police or authority can protect our people. It is the authority themselves who stand by and watches these things happen. The army that commits these atrocities, to this day, no one have been held accountable. So I'm going to show you the video. Please watch the video from the start to the end. I know it's difficult these days. Everybody wants 5-minute video. Watch this video throughout, and you see how our people relate to it. If it has not happened to you, you know somebody, I'm sure, that have gone through the same thing. Watch the video.
Yeah. On the 10th of April 2025, we received a complaint from one in Claire Pascal who had gone the previous night to watch football match around Biaka. After the match, on his way home, he was intercepted by elements of police, gendarmes, and the military around Bayangi area. The police post at Bayangi. They asked for his ID card. He removed his ID and showed them. They were still not satisfied. One of them identified him and said he was the one who called the State Council, Magistrate Kane, to retrieve a laptop they had seized from him. And immediately the others accused him to be Amber. He said no. He has lived for the past 2 years around that vicinity. They were still not satisfied. The gendarmes and the military left their post and went to his residence where they met his junior brother, and they asked for the wife. He said the wife had gone to Douala. They ransacked the whole house. We have got photos as evidence of what happened that night. They ransacked and they found no money. They brought him back to the post, stripped him naked, had him tortured. They rained on him. All the officers rained on him, tortured him, hired a vehicle, put him in the vehicle, and took him to his bank that he should withdraw money. They insisted. Unfortunately for them, he was using a wrong PIN, so the transaction could not go through. They brought him back and asked his friends to contribute money, that he should contact his friends. He did that, and they sent 250,000 francs. So he had 150,000 francs in his phone. Altogether, they collected 400,000 francs from him, and they went and shared the money. As if that was not enough, the taxi they had hired, they insisted that he should pay for the taxi, 4,000 francs, which he paid. So the next day, he went and established a medical certificate on the state of his health and lodged a formal complaint before this office on the 10th of April. We opened an investigation and identified 2 of the officers, police officers, who were on duty and who participated in the torture and extortion. We sought to know the head of the unit, which we finally got to the head of the unit, and he assembled all the officers who were on duty that particular evening and brought to this office. When they came to this office, they testified that they were part of the team that carried out the assault and, of course, the extortion of money. And I insisted, they wanted to give part of the money because they identified the respective amounts that they collected and they wanted to pay. They said the other officers, gendarmes and army, were out of station. I said, no, you are either paying the full amount or I will take action against you people. So they rallied on that same Friday, the 11th of April, 400,000 francs, which they brought to this office to defray all the amount which was collected from this young man. We have collected this money and called the victim in question which of course we are keeping his identity for now, unless the appropriate time when he will be called upon to give his own evidence. We have insisted that as an office, we are putting a formal complaint to the legal department so that legal action should be taken against all the officers involved in this illegality. This is not the first time we have sensitized and warned against their actions, but seemingly they still continue, hoping that if they are caught in the process, they will look for the money and give back, and the act continues. It continues like that. So we cannot carry on in this type of an appalling situation. This is so disturbing that people are treated in an inhuman, degrading manner, where they are forced to remove money from their own wallet or from their phones and give to officers who are supposed to be the one protecting them. So this is evidence of the money, and this money will be tendered as evidence in court so that all the respective officers involved in this particular action should be dragged to court and sent to prison. That is the action that we are going to be taking in the days ahead. The officers know themselves, and we have asked them to give us contact of the gendarmes and army. They are still keeping it away from us. Once they are dragged to court, they will be able to identify all the respective gendarmes and the army that worked with them that night or in that particular shift.
So you have heard first-hand testimony from this human rights lawyer in this video. He is called Christopher Tombe Tiku, a Bayangi man from Manyu. So you have heard him explain how this young man was tortured. Those who think our struggle is only by the use of arms should understand that what Christopher Tiku is doing is far beyond what somebody who bear arms can accomplish for our people. We have to understand it. Not just the violence against this young man. We have to use collective approaches such as this to accomplish things that are tangible for our people. Look at this man being tortured by a joint group of Cameroon army, gendarme, and police. Nobody says anything. Imagine how bold those soldiers are in front of gendarmes and police and army, a joint patrol doing that. This story has happened 1,000 times. Our people who arrives at the airport in Douala, Yaoundé, once they notice that you are an Anglophone, you undergo humiliation. They demand bribe from you. Unafraid, they know you cannot report them to anybody. There's nothing you can do. They can put you in jail and even send you to Yaoundé and say that you are Ambazonian terrorists. They will threaten you with arrest. No one in the government could help you. Neither was any officer amongst them afraid of any consequences. That is the life we are living. This is the Anglophone problem. The government of Cameroon have failed to police its own because they sit in a Todi. It is a group of Bulu Beti people. The people who really have power when they talk order from above. The government superiors and those who are there on the ground to observe this thing and report to them. When they have this obvious crime, they will call it propaganda. Those of you activists who are putting it, they are putting propaganda. This is exactly why it is the Anglophones that cry for change more than anybody in Cameroon. It's not that we are different. It's because we are subjected to these different systemic abuses. We cannot trust those who harm us to protect us. We cannot. We cannot trust those who harm us to protect us. That is why we are calling for total devolution of power and authority. The policing and the governing structures have failed us, the Anglophone people. We cannot depend on lawsuit forever, which is usually prolonged and expensive. And our lay people are not even aware how it works. And it will only give chance to more intimidation down the line. We encourage every lawyer, every common law lawyer, to make themselves available to the common man. But such cases must be well documented. And our people encouraged to flood the system with this type of cases, to make the services of human rights organization lawyers available to petty businessmen who are suffering the brunt of this type of abuses from the Cameroon government and their armed forces. Our people in this struggle have been derailed from fighting for their rights by hardliners who practice unrealistic purism that have turned backlash against our own people. We must go back to articulating our grievances one by one so that we can have a collective mindset to generate the public and political capital to solve these grievances, recognizing that we all are subjected to the same disrespect. Even the elevated slaves, those who have been appointed ministers, they will tell you the same thing, how they are subjected to the same discrimination and inequality and disrespect and humiliation because it stems from the system. It's time for a different approach. We must demand a new social contract where the Constitution of Cameroon will recognize us as a people, not administrative gestures. Complete devolution of power and authority that empowers our own people through their own elected representatives to regulate for them the policing in our territory, so that you have accountability and people in authority who have direct ties to our people. Municipal policing is the only way that can stop this type of issue. Community-led securities, a greater regional autonomy are vital to end these abuses that our people have been suffering for so long. When community control their own police, there will be accountability. No longer will a distant authority in a Turi send their men unsupervised to go around our territory terrorizing our villages. Instead, our sons and daughters, they deserve to keep the peace, to police our land, to protect their own and respect their own. This method of extorting our people, humiliating them, must come to an end. It is not sustainable. We have seen a war of shame as a result because our people cannot accept. You cannot accept to live like that. That grievance is that voice in our heart. We must be able to have elected representative that understands our people, to be in places to use the rule of law, to maintain the respect of human rights institutionally. We seek not conflict. We seek the empowerment of our people for justice by highlighting their plight and advocating for justice, fairness, and equality for our people so that they should have a fair chance to live their life in peace. Leave them alone. Do not harass them. They have a right to be free. The world must hear our plight. We must stand up for our people in an effective way. We must not allow radicals to use hate speech to drown a legitimate cry for fairness and equality with hate-driven rhetorics that will not even spare our people who are suffering from decades of marginalization and assimilation. We'll continue to advocate and cry and make our voice louder that our grievances are there. And only a negotiated settlement, a restructuring, putting in place structures that our people can rely, that auto-defense, that auto-protect, that you don't need to have a big brother. You don't need to call Etudi for you to be respected by the police, by the army, or the gendarmes. That's why we are proposing this one Cameroon, two people. The uniqueness of our people that Cameroon have already accepted, to have a unique approach to policing, a unique approach that is tailor-made to protect and preserve their identity, their culture, their human right. That is what we need. We need it. Have a good day, everybody. God bless you.